Have you ever thought about the way you conduct your job searches, or whether you're a reactive or proactive job seeker? You may have heard about being proactive versus reactive in the workplace. Being proactive about problem solving means seeing and addressing the issue before it can even arise. This principle also can be hugely successful when you're conducting your job search. My name's Brent. I own the Vancouver Express Employment Professionals Office, and we believe that there are 10 key steps that you should consider in your job search. Within each of these steps are several paths, choices, and actions that you can take, and they all depend on your personal situation and circumstances. In this video, I'm touching on proactive job searching and have a few points for you to consider if you find yourself in a position where you can apply it. First, there are huge advantages to being a proactive job seeker. Ultimately, you significantly reduce your competition as you're finding positions before they're even posted. There might not have even been a need at the company, but when approached in the right way, a business might consider creating a position. 2, you'll save tons of time spent on job boards. It can be super stressful and overwhelming to see a perfect position online that you feel you're the best candidate for, you apply for, and you never hear back. Unfortunately, searching on the job boards can feel like you're submitting applications into a black hole. Number 3 is you avoid the frustration. Your goal with proactive reach out is simply to connect with great people and build a network. Of course, we hope that there's a job at the end of the process, but the mindset should be, if it goes somewhere, then great. If it doesn't, you've still accomplished goal number 1, which is to reach out and connect with people. I hear every day from job seekers about the stress they experience when using job boards for their searches. The frustration inevitably turns into doubt or desperation as they start internalizing the lack of responses, begin to believe that something must be wrong with them or the resume. And this still may be the case, but bigger issue here is that the goal is to get a job, and when you're reactive applying and it doesn't work, it feels like we're failing. So what do you need to do? Well, in my opinion, to become a proactive job seeker, you need to identify opportunities before they become public knowledge. It sounds hard, and it is, but again, I stress, both reactive and proactive searches are a process, and a proactive problem solving tends to put you in control. First, you'll need to establish a list of companies that you want to reach out to, ones that you admire, ones that you want to work for. Don't focus on only one, and don't set unrealistic expectations. Have more than one dream company, maybe have 10 or 20. Spend time putting a list together and find out why you'd look for a company and why a company wouldn't be a fit. The next step is to set your intention for when you reach out. The analogy I like to use here would be if I was trying to buy something that wasn't for sale. I don't want to be desperate, but I do want to share with you that I have interest, and if it turns out to be what I think it is, then I'd be interested in showing further interest. So if you weren't selling your car, but I've been looking for one just like it, I could gush all over it, tell you how desperate I am to own one, and that I'd do anything to have a chance to buy it. The problem is that I give you all the power and I lose any control that I might have or had had. Or I could try something like this. Hey, I'm really familiar with that model. I've had my eyes on one for a while and I'm always looking for one in the right options with the right color, condition, and mileage. Maybe I could ask if you've ever considered selling, or just offer my info and say, hey, if you ever do think of selling, I'd love to be the first one to know. Along these same lines, a proactive reach out to a business could be sending a message or a call and saying something like, I've been following the company for some time. I often review the company career page. I'm an accountant or I'm in sales and I'm interested in these types of positions. I haven't seen or don't see a position listed that would fit me, but I wanted to connect to see what it might look like if a position like this were to come available. It looks like you're in HR or that you hire for these types of positions, and I'm interested in learning what you look for when you hire. Again, I'm not trying to get an interview or buy a job. I'm looking to learn more about the company and what they're looking for. There's a 50-50 need here, and I have just as much to offer as they do. Our third point is understanding your value proposition. You're already doing something that many don't, but what else do you bring to the table? You should think of specific tangibles or measurables that you can share if it makes sense to do so. Again, you should be prepared to share, but don't force it. This first intro should be about the person you're speaking with in the company. Your desire is to learn, not to share, but make sure you're prepared if a question does come up. Consider preparing some major accomplishments or an example that will captivate them while still being humble. If I stick with the car analogy, if the person was intrigued and said, hey, if I was interested in selling, what would you be able to offer me? You better be ready to say something like, I've seen certain ranges in the market, and I'd definitely be a qualified buyer, but I need to know more before throwing out numbers as I don't want to offend you. The same goes here. If on this call, they say, hey, what triggered you to call me? You better be able to say why the company inspired you. Or if they ask what you bring to the table, you should have a rock solid answer in your back pocket. The fourth point is to start reaching out. You can do this several different ways, but the easiest in my opinion is connecting with current employees or decision makers on LinkedIn. It's a bit more passive, but that might work to your benefit. If you happen to learn that you already know someone working there, even better. reach out and ask for a referral, or better yet, reach out to them first to get their thoughts on the business. Fifth is connect and ask for information. Once you find the right person, see if you can get on a call, a Zoom, a coffee, or a lunch. Once you've built some rapport, you can ask questions about how they became successful in their role and what got them to where they are, and what advice they'd have for someone like you who aspires to be in their shoes one day. Most people will take the time to talk to you if you make it brief and you're considerate of their time. You can also try to simply ask if you can send them a question via email, but I feel this is the last option as it makes it more difficult to leave a good impression. Hopefully the advice that we shared here helps. It's important to understand that the proactive approach can take longer than the reactive one. You also might be under pressure to find a job and might have to consider this the next time you look to make a change. This approach is one of strategy and tact, not aggressiveness and salesmanship. You're building relationships and creating big picture value propositions. Understanding the behaviors required to do this successfully will help you succeed long term as long as you aren't faking it. Good luck with your search, and thanks again for tuning in. If you'd like more info on Express, please visit our website, our Facebook page, or our LinkedIn, which are all linked below, and feel free to reach out with a call, text, or email and ask us any question you might have about your job search.